Blessings and welcome to the path to freedom, this absolutely amazing path where we get to continuously go deeper and wider and higher into understanding, into waking up, into trusting, into surrendering, into peace, into love, into joy, into harmony, into wholeness, into beauty, into releasing and letting go of that which no longer serves, releasing and letting go of who we used to be, so that the who we are becoming may emerge over and over and over again. So thank you so much for joining me, for tuning in, for participating in a moment of expansion, a moment of healing, in a moment of shining, glowing, and soaring in ever greater and grander ways. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and thank you so much again. I've had some requests about speaking into what is happening in the world today, to now, at this point in time, at this point in human history, because there is so much. There's wars in Ukraine and in Gaza, and there's so many things happening around the world, and there's so many individuals that are in suffering, and there's just so much that is happening. And for some individuals, or actually for the human mind, sometimes to be able to find peace, the peace that passes human understanding, we need some form of understanding. And the thing about transformation, because we're living in a universe, we're living in a creation that is continuously, eternally, infinitely expanding, that is continuously, eternally, infinitely progressing, moving forward, so that this loving presence that is all there is may forever allow for ever greater and grander expressions of itself to emerge. However, for healing to happen, and healing is a beautiful aspect of transformation, because as when we are being transformed, we're not ever adding anything onto ourselves. We're not adding anything, because we could not ever add anything onto that which we are, because we are already, we've always been, we will always be all that we are. All the love is here, all the peace is here, all the joy is here, all the harmony is here, all the abundance is here. Now, we may have covered it up with stories and beliefs and perceptions. Not may. Many of us absolutely have, and humanity as a collective absolutely has covered much of this up with lower vibrations, fears, worries, doubts, a sense of not being enough, a sense of not having enough, a sense of lack and scarcity. And even underneath that, a deep and profound sense of separation. And so healing, the way I define it, it is not ever about fixing anything that is broken, because there is nothing that is broken. But healing is about revealing that which is underneath these layers of false beliefs, small and limited thought patterns, judgments, opinions, and all of that. For healing to happen, we first need to become aware of what needs to be healed. So, and this is so on an individual level, and this is so on a collective level. We first need to become aware of that which needs to be healed, that which needs to be released and let go of. So we first need to become aware of the small and the limited. We first need to become aware of the fears, the worries, the doubts, the ways of moving, our habitual ways of moving through life that no longer serve. They may have served in some past moment, but they no longer do. For us to move to the next level, there needs to be some releasing and letting go, or actually there needs to be releasing and letting go of something. The principles of transformation, they're very simple. They're very simple. First of all, if we want anything to change in our lives, we need to change. That's the first one. The second one is, unless we change, nothing will ever change. And the third one is, when we begin to change, everything begins to change. So that which we're seeing in the world right now, it is an invitation for us, speaking into the second principle, inviting us to go into the first and third principle. So what we're seeing in the world is a wake-up call. It's an invitation for us to first of all become aware of what is already here. The small, the limited thought patterns. I was going to say the pity arguments, but the arguments, the egoic standpoints. I am right and you are wrong. This should be, this should not be. That is giving rise to any sense of, I need more. I need to have that in order to be happy, or in order to whatever the story goes. So there's a lot of stories that are out picturing themselves. There's a lot of fears out picturing themselves in the world right now. And all of these, they are coming to the surface because it is right and ripe for them to come to the surface. Now is the time. Now is the perfect time for humanity to transcend these small and limited, the sense of separation, the sense that might makes right, the sense that I am holier than thou, or I'm better than thou. The egotism and the stinginess and the selfishness. The sense that violence solves anything. All of these thought forms, all of these beliefs, they are now coming to the surface so that we may release and let them go, so that we may change our ways of being. Leaning into the first principle, if we want this to change, we need to change on an individual level at first. Yes, every single one of us has a mandate to begin to change, has a mandate to lean more into love and kindness and generosity in giving and sharing than, oh, I need what I need to be happy, into these egoic structures. This is what I need, and unless I get it, until I get it, I'm not going to be able to be happy. I'm not going to be able to be in peace. I'm not going to be able to be in joy. I'm not going to be able, you name it. So there's a beautiful invitation happening. Now, transformation is messy. Transformation is messy. The structures that need to crumble, that need to dissolve, when they crumble, when they dissolve, it is messy. The caterpillar that moves into the cocoon, into the chrysalis, goes through the metamorphosis to emerge as a butterfly. That caterpillar literally dissolves. It literally dissolves. It liquefies. So there's a whole lot of messiness going on for that beautiful butterfly to emerge. And just like that butterfly, or just like that caterpillar, the things that are now coming to the surface, they need to, we need to release. I mean, there are many systemic structures that need to be released and let go of. Many systemic structures that need to be released and let go of. There are many challenges that we are facing as a collective, as a human race. But every single one of them is a gift and a blessing of transformation. Every single one of them. And the reason why they're all coming up now is because we are ready to make that leap. We are now ready to begin to move in a different way. We are now ready to begin to release and let go of that which no longer serves. At such a high level, kind of like the Renaissance. And I'm no historian. please do not give too much credit to what I'm about to say. I, to be honest, I hardly even know what the Renaissance was. But what I do know, what I do know is that the individuals that were participating, that were partaking in the Renaissance, they didn't even know that they were. They didn't know what they were midwifing. They didn't know what was being transformed. They didn't know what was being released and let go of. Some may have a sense of it, but it was more like an intuitive, I need to do this, an intuitive calling, that still small voice calling them into some kind of action. So as we are midwifing this new world, having an understanding that that which is happening, it is not all bad, and I'm not saying that it is good on the surface. People killing people is not good on the surface. But there's a higher purpose to all of this. There's a there's something going on that we cannot pick up, that we cannot comprehend, that we cannot understand with using our physical senses. We cannot see the good that is emerging. We cannot see the greater picture here. We can catch it in consciousness, we can have the feeling tone of it, but we cannot see it. Just like the chicken that pecks its way out of the egg. When it first emerges, I would imagine, or like a baby that is just born, as it emerges out of the womb and what is it called, the birth canal, it is blinded by the light, and it is foreign, it is scary, it is turbulent, it is loud, it is noisy in comparison to the comfort and the stillness and the peace and the warmth in the womb. But the world that it is emerging into, that world already exists. So the next stage of human unfoldment, the next stage of our collective experience, the next world that is now being midwifed, it is already in existence. It already exists. It's already here. Every single possibility exists in this infinite mind of spirit. Every single possibility. And as God knows nothing of time, there's no past, present, and future in spirit, in this loving presence, but there's only now, an extension of now. As God knows nothing of time, every single possibility exists simultaneously. So there is no linearity of time. There is no after this comes that, or before that can be, this needs to be. It is not like that in spirit, but every single possibility exists already, simultaneously. So that new world that we are emerging, or that we are midwifing, that is now emerging, that world already exists. The world that where everybody gets to be safe, where pseudo power is not given to just a few select, where injustice and violence are not the order of the day, when it is not the norm. And it is not the norm now either. There are many individuals that live and lead completely different lives, but it is somewhat predominant currently. But that new world already exists. So what is ours to do is to stop looking and stop turning our attention toward what we don't wish to experience, and begin to turn our attention toward what we wish to experience, not denying that which is happening, not turning away to it, not closing our eyes or shying away from it, but not give it our fullest attention. but to more give our attention toward what we wish to experience, to more look for peace, to more look for love, acts of love, to more look for acts of kindness, and even more so to be that, to be the kindness, to be, as that statement goes, to be the wish we wish, to be the change we wish to be, or be the change we wish to experience, or be the change we wish to know, or be the change we wish to see. We need to change if anything is going to change. Unless we change, nothing is going to change. And when we begin to change, everything begins to change. So transformation, while messy, and while we're being called to make quite a huge leap here in human consciousness, it begins by taking small steps on a day-to-day basis. More and more lean into kindness, more and more lean into love, more and more lean into practices and activities that are in alignment with what we wish to experience. And as we're all connected in this, I was going to say huge, in this one field of consciousness, there's a beautiful saying that goes, high tide lifts all boats. So every single time we make a higher choice, it affects the whole of consciousness. It affects the whole of creation. So none of us is powerless. None of us can do everything, but every single one of us can do something. So let it begin with us. And let it begin with us turning our attention away from the surface appearance, the external conditions and circumstances. Let it begin with us becoming more mindful of the choices that we are making. Our moment-to-moment choices. How can I serve? That's a beautiful question to ask. In this moment, what is mine to do? That is a beautiful question to ask. How can I contribute? That is a beautiful question to ask. So there are many ways that we can all contribute. But as consciousness always precedes form, it is mainly in consciousness that we need to begin. It is primarily in consciousness that we need to begin. By raising our vibration to transcend the fear, the worry, the doubt, the judgments, the opinions. Yes, people are suffering. I know. Yes, people are hurting. I know. People are dying. I know. But any one of us falling prey to fear, worry, and doubt, falling prey to complaining, to bemoaning, to regurgitating, that does not serve the new that is emerging. But the more we can stay, and we have an absolute mandate to be in peace. Even when others are suffering, we have an absolute mandate to be in joy, even when others are not. We are not obliged to stoop down to the level of vibration that they are in, that they are finding themselves in. But the more we stay in the high vibrations, the more we contribute, the more we're able to do the inner work necessary to remain in that high space of peace and love and joy and harmony, looking for the good that we wish to experience, contributing to the good we wish to experience, being what we wish to experience, being in consciousness first, being in the world second. The more we are serving the new that is emerging. There is something absolutely wonderful happening here. We can lean into, and we need to lean into, what I call the 3 pillars of trust. This loving presence is all there is. It's got no opposites. It is not a little bit over here and a little bit less over there, but it is evenly present in all spaces, all places, because it is all spaces and all places, so that we get to trust the allness of this loving presence. The second pillar, we get to trust that God is good, benevolent, always for itself, even when it doesn't look like it, even when it doesn't seem like it. It is benevolent. So we get to trust the goodness of this loving presence. And then we get to trust that it is always expressing itself perfectly. Perfectly. Divine and perfect activity happening always. Action happening always. Divine and perfect timing happening always. Divine and perfect order happening always. And when we know this, when we trust this, then even in the midst of the most chaotic, most turbulent, most suffering conditions and circumstances, we still get to know and feel that all is well, that something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good, even this. And that is how we serve the midwifing the best. That is when we are the most powerful midwifers. Is that even a word? Midwifees? I don't know. The most expansive conduits, channels, vessels, instrument for the new world to emerge. So staying in a high vibration, that is first and foremost. First and foremost. And then leaning into inspired action after that. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you know of someone who you feel would benefit from hearing this, please let them know. Please share in whatever ways resonate with you. Until we meet again, I bless our days, and I bless our ways, knowing that all is well, that something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good, now, always, forever. Much love, many blessings.